Hey guys. All right, let's talk about how to hold our pencil before we get started with our writing this morning. So real quick, go over it again. You make your fish face. These two fingers go to sleep on your hand. You put your pencil through the middle of your fingers and your pencil lays flat against your hand like so. So that's how your pencil grip. That's how we should be holding it. You can see how Miss Thompson's holding hers, and that's how you guys should be holding yours at home. So keep working on it if you're not doing that right. Okay, so we are going to talk about how to write an introduction to our story. If you watch the video on the board in the writing room, you'll get to see how to write an introduction. So since we're using our imaginations this week and we're planning stories out and then we're writing a good introduction, I want to go back to my list because we're going to brainstorm first. That's the first thing we need to do. So animals. I think I want to write again about some dragons. I'm going to write about dragons today. So I'm going to plan out my story around dragons. All right, and I'm not going to draw a picture today. I'm going to try to get away from that. I'm going to write, and then I'm going to draw my picture to match. Are you ready? Are you ready to write with me? All right, so I want to write a good introduction. And if you remember in the video, and if you haven't watched it yet, you need to go watch it. It said you can draw your readers in by making a sound or making one of your characters say something at the beginning, making it suspenseful, which means you're really waiting to see what happens next. So I'm going to try to do those things and write my introduction this morning. And then tomorrow I'm going to write the rest of my story. We're going to do the middle part and then we'll put an ending on him. So you guys are going to help me build my plot. So we're getting less about drawing and more about writing. It's totally okay to draw a picture to go with your story. So here we go. I think I'm going to start off with a sound. Let's do pop. Exclamation mark, because it's a loud sound. Or sometimes authors will even do this. Let me erase that. Sometimes they'll even make all capital letters because that makes like you're shouting it. Pop. Pop. Now I'm going to talk about my character. What could my character, the dragon, possibly be doing that would make that sound? I'm going to put he was chomping his teeth. Let's see, Clancy. We're going to name him Clancy. Clancy the dragon was chomping his teeth. Now remember, in a good story, we always make the main character have a problem. So Clancy is our main character, and he is having a problem. So I'm going to write down what his problem is. Are you ready? He had a terrible toothache. Period. So pop, Clancy the dragon was chomping his teeth. He had a terrible toothache. Oh, that's a major problem. Terrible toothaches are no fun. He had a terrible toothache. That is very sad. All right. Let's tell some more about his problem because you don't want him to solve his problem too fast. When you're writing and you're trying to be a good writer, you do something called build suspense. You keep talking and talking about the problem and you make it worse and worse and worse until your readers just can't stand it anymore, and then you help them fix the problem. So the Clancy the dragon was chomping his teeth. He had a terrible toothache. It put him in a bad mood. Period. So if you notice, I'm starting all my sentences with a capital letter and I'm ending them with a period or an exclamation mark. And if I have to ask a question, I'll end it with a question mark. All right, so it put him in a bad mood. So right now, Clancy's got a toothache. He's in a bad mood. What should happen next? What do you guys think at home should happen next with Clancy the dragon? What should happen next? What do you think? I'm going to tell you what happens. Suddenly, he heard a knocking on the door. Period. Oh my goodness, who could that possibly be knocking on Clancy the dragon's door? It was a knight. Exclamation mark. It was a knight. We all know what knights do to dragons. What do you think the knight's gonna do? The knight said, remember, when you make somebody talk, you put quotation marks. That means their voice is coming on. So I turned my knight's voice on, so I gave some quotation marks. I'm looking for a dragon to slay. Because I'm looking for a dragon to slay. May I slay you? Question mark. He asked a question and his voice turned off, so I put quotation marks to show his voice turned off. All right, so that's a problem. Clancy has got a toothache. He's chomping his teeth. It hurts. And then a knight comes knocking at the door and wants to slay Clancy, because that's what knights do. They slay dragons. And I'm going to end it right there when you guys are totally wondering what happens next. See, that's building suspense. You guys are already going, well, what happens next? I want to know what happens with the knight and Clancy, and then why the knight wants to kill Clancy, and why does Clancy have a toothache? There's so many questions, and that's what good writers do, guys. They get their readers asking questions and wondering things and thinking about their story. So if that's something I want you to start working on and noticing when we read. This week we're doing Kevin Hanks with our writing. So if you will look on the bookshelf in the writing room, I have a story named Owen that I am reading to you today. And they're just good, cute stories, and Kevin Hanks is really good at using his imagination. So go and check that out, and happy writing.